Hello, and welcome to the Kathleen Spracklin podcast. I am a woman on a mission to gather a cadre of writers, thinkers, and teachers who are transforming the world, one character at a time, and a twin mission to help you get your Zettelkasten working on your work table beside you so that you can start gaining insights from it. Well, today's video is an instance where my two missions merge. I was doing research in the area of my emotions, and I used it as an example in my podcast last evening. And this morning I was completing the indexing task. I ran out of time last night. I was a little bit late getting my posting done. And so this morning, the first thing I wanted to do was finish indexing that card. And in the process, I gained an insight, and I want to share it with you because it's such an encapsulated illustration of how a Zettelkasten really works and why it's so powerful and why you want to get yours on your desktop. So let's go over to the down-facing cameras, and I'll show you how it unfolded and invite you to set yourself up for experiences like this. See you over there. This is the card that I was working with in my podcast yesterday. It was from Martin Seligman, where he had worked with a patient, and he said this happened more than once, where he helped the patient get rid of negative emotions such as anger. And when he was done getting these negative emotions out of the way, instead of having a happy patient, he was left with an empty patient. And so I showed you yesterday how I prepared this main card and how the card chose its parent. Well, this morning I still had to go through the card and do the indexing operation. So I'm just going to run through those steps so that you can see the point at which the insight arrived and how this can work with a Zettelkasten. Okay, here's the bib card. Now that my main card has a number, a very important duty is for me to add the main card number to the bib card so that the bib card points to the main card and the main card points back to the bib card. Next, it was time to index the keywords. I'm working on the first word, which is eliminate. So I've grabbed my E's. First thing I do, of course, is look to see if eliminate is in my deck. It isn't. So then the next thing I do is I take the general letter E's and I go through those to see if I have two or more occurrences of eliminate, so that is it time to become its own card? It wasn't. So that just meant that it was time for me to add this new main card to the index under the letter E, and I just included the entire tagline, which happens to have a lot of E's. But as I was writing this word out, I came to this spot here, empty patient, and an idea flashed into my mind that came from a main card a couple of days ago. Now notice that card was about chronic pain in a very strict definition of the term, where there is no ongoing tissue damage, but the pain is persisting. And it made me wonder if perhaps the empty patient thing might be going on with chronic unresolved pain in the absence of ongoing tissue damage. Could it be possible that the patient needs that pain because in some way it's better to be a person with pain than to be an empty patient? Perhaps there's a tie in there. In any case, it gave me that as a thought, and I wanted to capture that idea and not lose it. So I grabbed a blank card and I captured the idea that I was just thinking about. I logged the fact that it was a personal reflection in today's date, and then I indicated what card, what location caused me to think about this personal reflection. It was triggered from this card. So as I wrote this out, could empty patient syndrome be a key to non-tissue damage chronic pain? And I wanted to reference that card about the chronic pain. I didn't remember the card number. I mean, why would I remember a random card number? But I did remember that it was from Lisa Feldman's Barrett's How Emotions Are Made, so I knew what the bib card number was. How did I know the bib card number? because I use a formula, Lisa Feldman Barrett, how emotions are made. So I knew I could easily construct from memory what the bib card number was, and then I could pull the bib card. And here it is. And it's the note on chronic pain, how she uses it as a key term. And I noted in that moment what the main card number was that came out of this card. So now I could do two things. I could also reference that main card, and I could pull that other card to complete the insight that I was experiencing, possibly to the point of grabbing my yellow legal pad and completing that thought, which is going to be useful for my coming physical newsletter. So what's especially interesting about this situation is that these two cards did not actually have to come into physical contact with one another in my Zettelkasten for the association to be made. Because I had taken the time to patiently index the first card, it was still in my associative brain, and as I was patiently indexing the new card, my associative brain popped that thought into my consciousness, and I made a valuable connection. It turns out to be a very important storyline in a fiction story that I started in my September newsletter that's going to continue into my October newsletter, and that one will illustrate how understanding the basis for emotions will create a believable storyline that just doesn't come off as being some kind of a Pollyanna thing. It comes off as being a transition in a character that comes out of a gut reality, where you first see the gut reality that is the reason why the person is stuck, and then you get to witness what breaks into that and why that elevates the situation and enables the character to get unstuck. Because that's the kind of stories that I like to write. Patients that have gotten themselves, people, I don't think of them as patients in my stories, people in my stories, fictional characters who've gotten themselves terribly stuck and can't find their way out until they come to an understanding of the struggle that they're facing, and then they get the insight necessary to get out of the problem. Well, stuckness also comes about with a Zettelkasten. And if you are stuck and you're not making progress with your Zettelkasten and you're not getting exciting insights like this popping out, don't stay stuck. Put your question in the comments. I don't care if it's about something topic out of the blue that doesn't have anything to do with today's video topic. If you're stuck, put your topic in the comments of any video of mine that you're watching, anytime that you're watching them. I read my comments and I'll get back to you and we'll get you unstuck. Because as Robert Atherton puts it, a bare brain is a very weak tool to bring to an important problem. He's in the process of writing a book, and I can't wait for that to come out. I'll share it with you when it does come out, because I bet that one's going to be incredible. But I don't want you to have to face the issues of your world with a bare brain. The Zettelkasten has power to extend the power of your mind, but only if you use it correctly. So if you find yourself stuck, or you're not getting insights out of your Zettelkasten, let's get a dialogue going and let's get you unstuck. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.